So today we're talking Spider-Gwen, Curb Stomp, Silk, and Secret Identities, all number ones. Pretty much, here we go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Geeked Out Nation. My name is Steven, and I'm going to be doing something that I have not done in a very long time, and that's give you guys some comic book reviews in video form. Now, if you guys don't know, I love comic books. As you can tell in the background, this isn't a front. I love comic books, but I haven't had a lot of time, if you look on my channel, to really do comic book reviews. Now, that doesn't mean I don't talk about comics, because I still do love comics, and if you guys want to see a great podcast with me and a couple of my friends, check up on this channel. It's called the Comic Crossovers Podcast. I'll put a little picture right here so you guys can click right there, or you can look us up on iTunes, Comic Crossovers Podcast. So Spider-Gwen is the biggest new series coming out this week, and this is the book that everybody's been hyped about. Everybody's been waiting for this book because of the fact that this is a book that exists because the fans demanded it. For those of you guys that don't know, Spider-Gwen is a character that was introduced on the Spider-Verse event that happened a couple months ago, and more specifically Spider-Verse number 2, and it's pretty much a story where in a different world, Gwen Stacy was the one that was banned by the radioactive spider and not Peter Parker. Spoilers for Spider-Verse number 2, but in this world, Peter Parker essentially becomes a villain. He becomes the Lizard. He wants to exact revenge on the people that bullied him all his life, and he takes this thing and becomes the Lizard. He beats up some people. Gwen Stacy has to fight him. Things happen, and when she catches Peter, Peter is trying to detox from the lizard venom that he took. Peter actually dies because of the radiation that he was exposed to because of this, and then a lot of people accuse Gwen Stacy's character of Spider-Woman, or Spider-Gwen as we know her, as being the person that killed Peter Parker. Now, I think Spider-Gwen number 1 is a good, solid first entry into this series. I love the artwork for the series. I love the character designs. Although there are similar characters from Spider-Man's world, they are in here. They are all very different, and they are all really redesigned, have different color schemes and everything, and I love the art for the book. I mean, the way that they use the purples and the pinks and the greens and the way that they all pop out. And I believe that the art is the biggest standout in the first issue. Apart from the art, I do love that Gwen Stacy isn't like Peter Parker Spider-Man in any way. She is very edgy, very rebel, very in your face, kind of smart mouth, but not like Peter Parker smart mouth, more like she's kind of a renegade in a rock band. I mean, she's very different than Peter Parker, and I like that tone, and I like that we did something different with her character. And I think the dynamic of her father knowing who she is and trying to keep her safe, but at the same time her running away, and her father constantly trying to talk to her and kind of, you know, trying to reel her in from doing this vigilante type situations. I think that's all really cool, and it's very different than what we've gotten with Peter Parker, and I really dig it. I dig this first issue. And although I did like the first issue, I'm looking at it as a number 1, and it is not a true number 1. I feel that if you don't know a lot about the Spider-Verse situation, you might be a little bit lost here. You might be confused as to what's happening, what's going on. You have to do a little bit of research to kind of get familiar with the situation and understand what world this is and things like that. If you don't know, the first page tries to give you an exposition and an explanation of what happened, and I don't think it did a good job. It's kind of sloppy. It's pretty, but it's sloppy. It has a couple characters that you don't really know who they are or why they're there. There's a cool twist that happens, but it's a lot to take in the first couple pages from somebody that doesn't know about the Spider-Verse. The lucky thing is that I kind of cued you guys in on some of the things, so if you guys definitely want to check out Spider-Verse number 2, it'll help this issue be a whole lot better. The other thing that I really didn't like is that it doesn't really have a true path right now in the first issue. We don't have a definitive direction that we're heading. We don't have a definitive like villain or situation that we're going to be getting out of this. We don't know what's the point of it right now. So other than that, I think the issue was really good for a read. I enjoyed it. I think the colors pop. I think the variants are all really amazing. So definitely something that you guys could check out, but just be aware that if you don't know much about Spider-Verse, you might be a little bit confused. At least for the first issue, maybe it'll pick up in a couple other issues that you might just kind of go with the flow. But for right now, you might be a little confused if you don't know anything about Spider-Verse. But I'm gonna say that I would definitely check out Spider-Gwen number 1. I enjoyed it. I dig it. So pretty much, let's move on to something else. Alright, so moving on to Curb Stomp number 1. This is a Boom Studios mini-series, which is about a group of girls who are, I believe it's set in like the 70s or 80s, who are a part of a gang who call themselves the Fever. Now, this gang prides themselves in protecting their turf. They are all about nobody that's from enemy territory is allowed in here. There's surrounding gangs from surrounding cities that all know their turf. It gave me a vibe of a movie that I actually really love called The Warriors that came out in the 70s. There's a Rockstar game that came out, I believe, on PlayStation that I dug a lot, and it gave me that vibe from the writing to the colors to everything. It gave me that vibe. Now, the premise of the book is that something happens in the first issue where enemy comes into certain territory, and one of the Fever girls gets a little bit too violent because of the fact that they attacked her first. A member of a following gang is killed, and that is looking like it's going to be the heart of the series about how the hell they're going to get out of this. I mean, they're all badass chicks. I mean, we get a really cool introduction to all of them doing what they do and get some really interesting character developments in like a page or two of each character, and I really did dig that. And we see that what each of them brings to the table, what each of them brings to the group and the gang that's unique. And we see how people actually fear them. I mean, there's parts where they're walking and people are closing their windows and kind of scared. It gives you a really big vibe of that movie, The Warriors, but with a female gang, and I really, really dig that. It's a very violent first issue. I mean, there's a lot of blood, a lot of gore. I mean, it's very violent, very reminiscent of that time period. The art for the book is interesting and it sets the mood, but there's times where colors change too drastically. Like one time somebody's wearing a certain color with patterns, and in the next shot she's not wearing that, and it does it very often. The skin colors of the characters changes, and I get why they were doing it. They were setting the tone and the mood, but I didn't really love it every single time. I liked it sometimes, but I think that when it came to the characters, they should have gone with a kind of more solid look with the characters, because each character's change drastically from color of hair, color of skin, color of clothes, and it just kind of was like, damn, why so drastic? Like, why so drastic with the color change? But other than that, I really did like this first issue. I think the fact that it's a miniseries is going to make me really stay on board with it. I mean, it's a short miniseries by Boom, and it's something that we're not really getting anywhere else. I mean, a hardcore girls book about gangs. I mean, in the 70s or 80s, it looks just like it. It makes it feel like it. The writing is like it. The tone is like it. Everything about the book makes it feel like it was written for that time period. And something that I really like, because we're not getting anything like that right now. I can definitely see myself picking this up and checking it out again for issue 2. I definitely think if you like this style and you like the artwork that I'm showing here and you like the tone of the book, something that I definitely recommend checking out the first issue, because I think the writing is spot on for the 70s or 80s. I think the gang members are all really cool, and there's a twist that happens at the end that you know that this thing is gonna keep going strong, and it's not gonna slow down. I mean, it's 4 issues, stuff goes down in the first issue, and you know that right there and then it's gonna be gang warfare, and that's really cool. So I really dug this one as well. Next, we're talking about Secret Identities #1, which came out last week, and it's a book that I really liked, like a lot more than I thought I was ever gonna like. It was a book that I definitely checked out. I read it, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. And essentially what the book is about a superhero group called the Frontline. There's about 7 members of this group, and they're just in the Justice League. They all have different powers. One has the powers that's kind of like the Flash. One is kind of like the Thing mixed with Human Torch. One is like a cyborg kind of guy. I mean, they're pretty much think the Justice League or the Avengers of this world, and pretty much they're the front line. They're the team that everybody depends on to save the world. The issue starts off with a lot of action, crazy things are happening, and the heroes are kind of in a jam, and then a separate heroes comes out of nowhere and helps them out. He comes out of nowhere and he helps the heroes out, and when he helps them out, they've seen him around and they know of him, and they decide to ask him if he wants to be a part of the crew, and he, of course, who doesn't want to be a part of like the Justice League or whatever? So he becomes a part of the crew, and we quickly find out that the book is not what you think it was going to be. The book is a lot darker and a lot more twisted than what we thought it was going to be. It gave me a feel of Watchmen, and what I mean is that this new member, he's in the group, but he's not exactly who he appears to be. It's just weird. I mean, you can tell that he wants something from them, and it turns out that he wants to know all their deep, dark secrets. And it turns out that each of these heroes does have a deep, dark secret. And although the beginning of the book was just meh or okay, like the first 5 pages, where it really picks up is when you start to get to know the heroes and you start to see what their past is, or what they are essentially right now when they're not being heroes. One person is essentially killing people to feed on, because he's kind of like a vampire type of hero, and he's killing people to feed on. Another character he's kind of got the powers of the Flash. He's essentially got 2 families with 2 wives and 2 kids. I mean, he's balancing that, and this kind of gets you to think like, wow, the Flash could actually do this. He could have 2 families because he's so quick. I definitely think that Secret Identities is one that you can definitely get on board. The art is just okay, not the greatest thing in the world. It could have been better, but it's not horrible. I mean, I think the art is okay. It kind of fits the tone, but not really. I mean, the art's just whatever. I don't care about the art. What I care about is the story being told. And if you can get past the first 5 pages that are just completely cluttered with just action, almost like they were trying to force all the power, like, look what all these heroes can do. If you can get past all of that, I think you'll really dig the first issue because of the character development that we're going to be seeing. And I'm saying you right now that this is probably the best book that I read last week, and I really dug it. I really liked it, and I can't wait to see the second issue. It's by Image Comics, called Secret Identities. Definitely check it out. I think it's worth checking out. Buy the first issue. I think it's definitely worth reading if you want to get something a little bit different. All right, guys, so the last book that we're going to be reviewing today is Silk #1, which is another book that came out last week, the big issue by Marvel that came out last week, starring Silk, the new member of the Spider family. Her real name is Cindy Moon, and if you guys don't know about her, she was another character that was introduced during the Spider-Verse storyline event, also introduced in, I think, the new Amazing Spider-Man #4, I think it was. She's a character that brand new. She's of Japanese and American descent, or pure Japanese descent, and her story is that the same spider that bit Peter Parker back in the day also bit her. She gets taken away and put into a bunker for about 10 years. Trained, experimented on, a lot of things happen. A lot of this stuff is for Spider-Verse. But essentially what we have here is when the issue first starts, we see her fighting a guy that looks like the Falcon, kind of. I'm not sure who he is, but he's like a grade B villain or whatever. She's fighting him and she's kind of winning, but then she's kind of losing because she can't control her powers still. Peter Parker shows up, Spider-Man saves her, kind of helps her out a little bit, and then that's what we have when it comes to her as a fighter. Now, the big thing about Cindy is that her family was very strict before she got the powers, very focused on her studies, making sure she was all about school, but she wanted to be a good student, but she also wanted to have fun. When she finally escapes or is released from the bunker, her family is nowhere to be found. We can't find her family. She doesn't know where they are. She doesn't know what happened to them. They moved away or something, but there's some suspicious things that are happening. She's just very confused. And I think that's what allows this first issue to be a really good, solid first crack at a new character, is the fact that she has a mystery element to her where you don't know much about her because she doesn't know too much about her outside of what she was in that bunker or before. Now, some things that bothered me in the issue were the fact that when she fights, she does the wisecracking like Peter Parker. And I don't like when characters, just because you're a superhero doesn't mean you have to be a wise ass, a wisecracker. And that's what she's doing when she fights. And for me, it just feels like the tone that I was getting with her feels a little bit unnatural. I wasn't expecting her to be that kind of person where she's gonna be wisecracking and talking smack. I didn't like that. But if that's the character they're going with, I guess I'll understand it. But I don't really like that. What I like about her is that she's more quiet, more mysterious, has a different tone than Peter, and her mystery with her family is different than Peter's. And I liked all that. And like the Spider-Gwen issue that I just talked about earlier, it's not really a first issue. It kind of is, but if you don't know that she was bit or how she got her powers or who she is, you don't really get a sense of who she is and how she got her powers in this first issue. It almost like you have to go back and read like a few, maybe like 2 issues to get a better understanding of who she is and why she's here. You don't really get a sense. They allude to some things, but if you're not caught up with her as a character, and you don't have to read much to be caught up with her. I think like 2 issues she's been in, or 3. You'll be a little bit confused and you don't know her relationship with Peter or anything. So when Peter appears here, you're like, well, what's going on? How does he know her? There's a few things that are confusing if you don't know a bit about her. So I think the art is pretty cool. I think her as a character is different, and I think that it's a cool female Spider family person that we're gonna be getting. I mean, new Spider family character, and I think she's really cool, from Japanese descent, and the mystery of where her family is and why exactly people are after her, which is another thing I won't spoil, but people are after her, is going to be really interesting. So I'm going to say that I recommend this one as well. Recommend checking this issue out just to see what you guys think. Alright guys, so thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my one-shot reviews for these 4 issues. Definitely, if you guys like this segment that I have here, make sure you guys comment below, like the video, share it with your friends, and let me truly know what you guys think of this little thing that I'm doing here, and give me some recommendations. And hopefully I'll be back with something more this week. I mean, if there's some more new things that I've checked out this week that I want to review, I'll definitely review them and give you guys my opinions on them. But this is just something that I wanted to do and just kind of throw out there for you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you guys want to see more things about comic books, check out the Comic Crossovers podcast videos right here. Check us out on iTunes and Podbean and Stitcher. We're pretty much everywhere, called the Comic Crossovers Podcast. Talk about comics every single week, from news to discussions to what we picked up, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. And pretty much I'm gonna get out of here and talk to you guys later. Peace. Oh yeah, and geek out about anything no matter what it's about. See ya.